Hyperpop pioneer
Fuck.
Sophie MSMSM, Sophie Zion, whatever, dead at 34. She died in Athens, Greece, as she was climbing a cliff trying to scale it to see a full moon, and then fell. Tragic accident. It's fucking sad, honestly.
She was an artist that Dan really enjoyed, recommended on the podcast. We reviewed her album a few years ago, and it was someone I even brought up last week where I'm starting to now understand hyperpop more and get a more of a feeling about it. It wasn't my cup of tea, but now I'm starting to understand it with like Yonzi and stuff. And it was very upsetting to see that because she produced some of the like best obscure music. She did a couple of tracks with Vince Staples on Big Fish Theory, and that was some of my favorite rap tracks of the past decade.
Yeah.
And it's just so many things where I would want artists or other people to collaborate with her to get so much different sounds and stuff. I really wanted more rap and trap artists to see if she could produce some stuff for him. And
Yeah.
fuck.
Because what Sophie did was took a lot of articles are saying that she really became instrumental in what music sounds like today. And I think that's a really good way of putting it. And like for once, not really too much of an understatement, because Sophie's sound was kind of a purposeful, I've always described it as a fuck you to pop.
Oh, it is.
It's pop music, but it's remixed and distorted in a way that sounds a lot more reminiscent of industrial music, the subgenre in electronic. And she's put together a number of different like sounds off of that as it's continued. From she ended up working with Madonna, and I'm forgetting her name, it's so annoying. She ended up working with Madonna and another artist to produce a really big pop song that blew up at a certain point, and then it sort of continued to blossom from there. It was the really great thing was that in addition to doing the electronic sound that she was doing, she was also working with rap artists, pop artists. The thing I was forgetting, it's Bitch I'm Madonna featuring Nicki Minaj, obviously with Madonna, that Sophie produced. And so Sophie's popping around producing songs for other artists. In addition to doing her own stuff, you have Oil of Every Pearl's Uninsides, which was the thing we reviewed in 2017. Wild, really exploring the more experimental parts of the industrial aspect of that sound. But it just sort of flowed into things, like we said, with Vince Staples in a rap context, with Madonna and Nicki Minaj, with Charlie XCX even. There's so much going on there that influenced it. And now it was like some of the biggest like hits from the last, or like underground hits from the last couple of years, like Injury Reserve or 100 Gex are like a direct relationship to this kind of like hardcore production that is sanded down to almost be like feasible for like regular people's ears, and then tying it into other genres as well. It's just a really amazing kind of run she had that was way cut too soon.
Oh yeah, and then probably one of the best like eulogies on Sophie was Vince Staples posting on Twitter. I have a picture of her with in the studio. I mean, he did a couple tweets that are kind of on the nose, and a little bit of funny to have some light on all the situation.
Yeah,
it says can't even be sad because Cud would look at me like I was crazy. Sophie was different. You ain't never seen somebody in the studio smoking a cigarette in a leather bubble jacket, just making beats and not saying one word. And don't let the verse be deep or heartfelt because she's stopping the computer and walking outside till you get back on some gangster shit. My favorite one. Sophie walked in the studio unannounced, wearing Mickey Mouse ears on the way home from Disneyland with Jimmy Edgar. Like, she has something for you. Played 7:45, took a water bottle, and left. I'ma miss the homie.
Yeah.
7:45 goes hard.
Yeah, that wasn't a song. That was Jimmy Edgar's production
right?
Rather than Sophie's. But Sophie produced 2 other songs on Big Fish Theory.
Party People, right?
I think Party People, but definitely the one with Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And you can definitely hear Sophie's production in that, in Vince Staples' album, which is already very avant-garde and electronic in that way. So it's very sad, especially we talked about the MF Doomer episode earlier, when you have artists who die early, seemingly from causes that are like not self-inflicted, not that those deaths aren't bad, but like it does happen all the time. And also
on your face before the bodies are cold. Dan sent me, this is the worst inside baseball here, but Dan sent me, well, at least it wasn't suicide this time. We've got too many of those. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Sad thing is, you're really right though, because we've had like so many mental health breakdowns of so many different artists and stuff. So
And
that was my first thing I saw. I'm like, oh please God, no, Sophie, don't do it. I'm like,
yeah.
just crazy accent,
Especially
just
because-
random shit.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
especially
oh,
because
that
there's
sucks.
so much going on in the music world. While
Exactly,
bus
yeah.
number 173 is continuing to roll over people, Annie also pointed out that she was surprised that it wasn't an overdose as well. Because again, overdoses and suicides and all these different things
Happen all the
take
damn
a
time.
lot of young young producers and artists and musicians in general.
Mhm.
And like we joke about it sometimes, but a lot of it's related to mental health issues,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
are exacerbated when you're a trans woman, as Sophie was. And so you like, if those things were the case, you would definitely feel for her in that way. But like, it's in a different way very sad that it was accidental, and while she was just like wanting to see the full moon in
Mhm.
Athens, Greece, which was very beautiful because there are photos of it and it's really sad to see. But also like, it was a death that was like, I guess a little bit more peaceful in that way. Or like,
it's just a freak
Yeah.
accident.
yeah, freak accident, probably not peaceful as it was happening, but like it's a more innocent
just
kind of way
damn.
it was happening, right? You know?
Just shit
Um,
happens.
Yeah, so really hate that. And yeah, rest in peace, Sophie. And like
I
I
live
said,
on with the podcast for
yes.
sure.
like we mentioned in the Doom episode, the best artists are the ones who like leave a mark on a bunch of different genres, and then like they just go from there. And so Sophie, again, did that remarkable thing where she had a huge impact on musicians at a very young age relatively. And while we definitely could have had more Sophie and it would have been great, she lives on very much so in a lot of modern music that we're going to be reviewing over the next couple years. So that's good.